Yes, we are live. So I'm just going to give it just a few seconds to kind of pop up for people to see it. Make sure that everything is going well. Looks like it is. Awesome, awesome. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Escondido Public Library's virtual author chat series. Today's chat is in partnership with Mysterious Galaxy Bookstore. I'm your host, Jessica Buck, and today I am joined by author Brianna Bourne. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today from all across the pond.
Yes. Thank you very much for having me. Yeah.
Yes, I'm so excited to talk with you and to let people know that you can order You and Me at the End of the World from Mysterious Galaxy Bookstore. And when you order your copy, you'll get a swag pack. Just make sure to write pre-order campaign in the order comments section during checkout to reserve your swag pack. Links are in the chat description if you need those. And if you have any questions for the author, please feel free to add those to the comments and we will get to those as they come up. So don't be shy, ask us all the questions you want, please, please. But we're going to start off with the basics. So tell us a little bit about you and your journey to becoming a writer.
Yeah, okay. So writing journey. I've always really loved writing. When I was a little girl in school, the only kind of assignments from elementary school that stuck out to me were the ones that had some sort of creative writing component to them. I remember, I think we like bound a little book and wrote our own story in there. And that just really I loved that. And back then, if you'd asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would have definitely said writer. But once I got to high school, it seemed like a really impossible, unattainable kind of career. So I went for something that was a bit more, where the path was more clear and the outcome was more guaranteed. But I never stopped writing things, and I always felt that pull to kind of get things down on paper. And I did bits and bobs here and there. And then 5 years ago, I really sat down with the aim to write this story and get it published. And here it is. Very exciting.
Yes. Well, mine's the ARC, so it's not like the official one, but it's kind of official.
So gorgeous.
It counts. It's still pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful in the hardcover. Oh my gosh. Just stunning. So for those who maybe this is their first time hearing about you in your book, or they haven't picked it up yet, or they're considering it, tell us a little bit about You and Me at the End of the World.
Yeah, okay. So You and Me at the End of the World follows two extremely different teenagers, Hannah and Leo, after they wake up to find they're the last two people in their silent and empty city. So as they explore this world with no parents, no school, no friends, they realize they can be themselves instead of kind of playing the parts that other people cut out for them. But nothing about the city is quite as it seems. And if they can't figure out what's going on, they might just get torn from each other forever. So that's the pitch.
It's a pretty good pitch. Like, it's not just, oh yeah, they meet and they have an adventure. It's like, it's only them. They don't know what's going on. And there was a huge plot twist. I was expecting like YA Walking Dead, but no zombies kind of thing, where it's like, you don't know what's going on. I was like, okay, this is not what I was expecting, but I loved it. For anyone who likes YA romances that doesn't care about the other characters, really, like, this is the one for you, because it's a lot of the main characters the whole time.
Sometimes it is described as like dystopian or apocalyptic, which it kind of is, but it's really more about the love story, I think.
Yes. So I was very happy. I was like, yes, I'm enjoying this. And you will too. So you should order from Mysterious Galaxy Bookstore or your local bookseller, or check it out from your library. Those aren't the only options, but those are the ones that we are promoting. So what inspired Hannah and Leo's story? And were there any challenges when you were writing it? Or did it just come like easily when you were writing it?
So initially I wanted to write a love story where the two opposites fell in love, but I wanted it to be ultra focused and zoomed in on just the two of them. And then I thought, like, well, what if they literally are just the last boy and girl in the world, and that way they get to be together in a really intense way for 24 hours a day, for like, and the book is kind of over the course of maybe a week. Because like when you're falling in love, it does have to squeeze in around all of the other parts of your life. But in this empty Houston, Hannah and Leo get to figure out who they are away from that and what they want to be to each other. And then I had to reverse engineer why that is. So as far as challenges, so I kind of naively thought that writing a book with just two characters would be a bit easier, but all of the things that make characters feel real to readers, like their interactions with other people and their history, I had to build all of that in still, but just in a less traditional way. So that was kind of tough. And also pitching it has been really hard because there is a big twist and you do find out like why everyone else has disappeared. And it sounds really cool if you just say like, this is a book where a boy and a girl, meet win, but you can't say that because it's massive spoilers and it'll ruin the whole reading experience. So yeah, it has been hard to pitch it as well.
And let me just check on Facebook. Thank you everyone who is joining us and watching. I can see that you're watching, but I don't see any comments. So if you have any questions for the author, anything that comes to mind while you're listening, if you have like clarifying questions, feel free to add those to the comments and we will get to those. Don't be shy. This is your chance to ask the author questions. So you mentioned having the characters just be by themselves, no one else, and the struggle was trying to have like the reasoning for that, so it's not a big spoiler. So in the book, Hannah and Leo, they're forced to depend on each other in like a very suddenly changed world. They're isolated, it's just them, they don't know what's going on. So we talked a little bit before we went live about like having your book come out during like the pandemic, everything being virtual, not being able to be in person. So how did you feel with this coming out during the pandemic with all the changes that like your readers are going through and all the isolation that they're feeling? Like, have people talked about how they kind of connected with the book in that way, or was it just everything in the air?
No, they have. A lot of people have, especially like the early readers that I kind of was listening to a lot. So the book sold in like January of 2020. So we hadn't, it was fully formed before the pandemic. And when I started seeing like these images of empty streets on TV, or when you look out the window, I was kind of like, oh no, like my book is like becoming kind of real. And at first I was really scared that would hurt it, but now I think, and listening to readers, responding to it, I think it kind of gives it an accessibility because like you immediately like know what those emotions are like. But also, seeing Hannah and Leo confront their isolation and, work out how they can get through that together is kind of like almost therapeutic. And they sometimes say that books can be either, a how-to guide or cautionary tale. So you see Hannah and Leo do things that are useful that you can maybe do in life, but also things that are like, oh, maybe that's not the right thing to be doing to try to cope. So yeah, I think it gives it like a little bit more, it's easier to get into than it maybe would have been if it had come out in a non-pandemic. So that's nice. Yeah, but it has been very, very surreal.
Was there a particular part of the book or scene that was just difficult for you to write?
There's one scene that I had to write a few times in a few different ways. And that's the one where the twist is revealed. And I needed to try that in a few different ways before I could find the most impactful way to do that. I also think that like the beginnings of books are quite difficult in general because you have so much to set up. So that can, and if you don't get that right, it's really hard to move on. So I always end up spending a lot of time on the setup of books as well.
So would you say that you're more of a pantser or a plotter, or like a little bit of both?
I have become more and more of a plotter as time goes on. And I'm starting to think that maybe I need to like pull back on that a little bit. The very first draft of this, when I started it like 5 years ago, I really didn't know what I was doing and I just kind of wrote it. And then I started reading craft books and, you know, how to, you know, plot books. And it all really like made sense to me. And I started really like internalizing all of that. And now I really like plotting and my outlines are massive. And so yeah, I am definitely a plotter.
And we have a Facebook question. This is from Sarah. Sarah asks, do you dance or are you just a stage manager?
I danced a little bit, like just very casually as a kid. And I took one class in college while I was studying stage management so that I could kind of try to get a little bit of insight into a dancer's world. I am, you know, I'm not a dancer by any means. And working with them as a stage manager, kind of, you are so close to it. And I was, you know, observing a lot of things. So it got really built into the book. And Hannah originally wasn't going to be a ballerina.
I was going to ask.
So in the earlier drafts, she wasn't. And in trying to kind of build the emotional arc for her, one day I was just like, oh, what if she was a dancer? And I think that probably came from, you know, being in a studio with very highly trained, very talented dancers for 40 hours a week. And it must have just slipped into my subconscious. And I was like, well, let's try this. And it actually worked out really well because, you know, she's coming from kind of a very structured world and losing all of that, you know, all of the time that she would spend at the studio. It's really very different once she gets into this world with just Leo.
So I want to go back to the writing process. So you said that you've kind of been developing the plotting more as you've been writing. Do you have like a writing like rituals now? Do you have to be in like specific environment? Are you still figuring things out? Can you write anywhere?
I definitely can't write anywhere. And I really wish that I could. I'm trying to become more flexible about that, but I find that the rituals really help me to get, you know, in the headspace to write. So I have a little desk by a window and I listen to focus music. So it doesn't have words. And it kind of like, it claims to do something to my brainwaves. So maybe that's helping. And yeah, so that's kind of my setup. And I try to write when I'm drafting or editing. I write every day for, you know, most of the day. So it's very intensive.
So because you mentioned music, you don't listen to music with words while you're writing, but do you like create, I know a lot of authors will like make a playlist for their book, or like these are like the themes. This is like what I imagine the book to be. Do you have a playlist?
I do have a playlist, and I made one on Spotify, and it's part of like the swag pack. So if you want to have a listen to the official playlist, you can just search for You and Me at the End of the World on Spotify. And because the book is told in 2 points of view, the playlist kind of mirrors that. So there's all this like 80s rock for Leo, and then there's classical ballet music for Hannah. And then there are a few dark songs tucked in there that kind of capture the vibe of the empty city.
That is so fun. I wish more people did that, because books that I love that don't have an official playlist, I'll like have a playlist that I listen to that kind of gets me in like the vibes. But that is so fun, and I'm so excited to like look that up later on Spotify. So we had another Facebook question from Camilla. what is your favorite book?
Ooh, my favorite book of all time, I think, might be The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. That is just, I think I read it at a really formative time as well. And I remember reading it. I was on a train somewhere in Europe, and like I had to put it down because I'm like just a sobbing mess, and all of the people on the train were like looking at me funny. So I was like, I'll just later so that I can have a good cry. So I think that's my top favorite book. Yeah, but I have a very long list of other ones that I also really love.
Yeah, I don't understand people who can read silently, because I'm very much like, I will gasp or I'll talk to the book as I'm reading. Like, I don't, people that can keep it in, it's like, that to me is something that I'll never understand, because like, how can you keep it in? It's so much.
Can be a lot, yeah.
Sarah says her playlist is awesome and I listen to it so often.
That's amazing. Yay.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay.
I enjoy it. I listen to it a lot in the car as well, actually. I'm just like rocking out, especially my Leo songs.
Ooh, so now I'm just so excited to see, because it'll be interesting to see like what you as the writer chose for the music. This is very exciting. I'm probably going to listen to it for the rest of the workday.
Do it. Amazing.
So what are some aspects of like the publishing process and everything that maybe surprised you or you weren't expecting?
Okay. I had heard that it was very slow, and it kind of is, but I was expecting that, so that was not so bad. The thing that kind of surprised me the most was just like how many books come out every week. And you probably have a much better grip on this as a librarian. And I'd always been a reader, so like theoretically I knew that there were a lot of books, but when you're, when you've really got your finger on the pulse and you're like, okay, well, these 20 books came out last week and now it's my launch day. And then like the day after you get an email and you're like, here are 20 more YA books coming out next week. So yeah, it's just really full on all the time, which is super great for readers. But it is hard to like find, what will really resonate with you as a reader and whatever. So that was surprising. But another really awesome thing was how non-competitive it feels when you're in author spaces with other authors and writers. Everyone's just really supportive. And I'm in a group of fantastic 2021 debut authors, and they are all really lovely people. And even like the well-known and best-selling authors that I've interacted with have been really welcoming and supportive. So I wasn't expecting that, and it's really nice.
I've been hearing that a lot from a lot of the YA authors we've had on, about how you have like your little group of support, and I'm like, oh, it makes me feel so happy to know that, because you guys are awesome and you guys need support.
It's true. It's true. And whenever I have a question, I know I can go there, and somebody has probably already been through the same thing just a month or two earlier. And then, and I can help out other people who are, whose books are coming out this fall or this winter. So it's nice.
Oh, I love that. Okay. So Sarah is actually Sarah's daughter, Amelia. So Amelia, thank you for your original question and for commenting. And Amelia loves the book, read it so often and so fast.
Oh, is this Amelia in is it Oregon? Oh well, we'll see if she says yes. But I think I know which Amelia this is.
I'm like looking at the account. Let's see.
Anyway, hi, I'm really glad that you love it.
Okay, and yeah, if anyone watching has more questions, please add those in. As you can see, we're very happy to answer these, and Brianna's just wonderful and loves hearing all about how much you love the book. So keep those comments coming. And we already talked about some of the challenges of you for writing the book. So let's talk about, what do you hope readers take away from You and Me at the End of the World?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, I hope that they get 6 or 7 hours of escapism and entertainment, and experience this love story directly through the character's eyes. And I hope they get that little like top of the roller coaster feeling, because that's always so juicy to have in a romance novel. And with Hannah and Leo's story, I kind of hope that readers come away from the book ready to take a chance on a friendship or a relationship with someone that they were drawn to, but might have been afraid to approach because, on the surface, you might think, oh, they look really different to me. We probably wouldn't get along. But, sometimes if you take a chance on someone like that, you can just totally click. So, yeah.
Yes, and you should definitely purchase You and Me at the End of the World, or borrow it from a library, or borrow it from a friend, or lend it to a friend. Just like keep sharing about it because it is wonderful. And this is a YA. Have you always been drawn to stories for young adults, or like how did that come about? Was the idea originally going to be teenagers, or just
I think I'm really drawn to like first love stories, because like when I was that age, like everything is so intense. So I wanted to kind of capture that feeling. And I think that's really kind of all there was to it when I was deciding genre. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see where I go from there, because like, I have a YA fantasy series cooking in my head that, hopefully I'll get to write one day. And maybe there's even a few ideas for like non-YA books in there. So yeah, I hope my career will last long enough for me to write all of those for readers.
Oh, absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind. Just keep them coming and we will read them. Amelia says, yes, she is the Amelia from Oregon, and this is her favorite book, and she's watching with her best friend that she made read it, and it's now both of their favorite books.
Yay, this is so awesome. Yay.
I love it. See, this is why you should share books with your friends, because then they'll love it, and then you'll have something to talk about.
So true.
Recipe for success. So I was going to ask if there's any genres you thought about writing in, but you just mentioned that you have the fantasy that's cooking. So do you read fantasy?
I read everything. It is kind of scary though. I feel like that book is really ambitious, and I don't know if I'm ready to write it yet. So we'll, maybe a few years down the road, because, although there was actually more world building kind of required for You and Me at the End of the World than, you would expect from a contemporary romance. So I have, flexed that muscle a little bit, but I still don't know if I'm quite ready to write the fantasy. But yeah, I do read fantasy. I read, lots of adult fiction as well. So lots of stuff.
That works well into the next question of what books did you read growing up? I know you talked about your favorite book, but were there others that you read growing up, any that had a big impact on you?
Yeah, so I had to make a little list of this, so we'll go chronologically. So when I was in elementary, I was reading like the Boxcar Children. I was really into the Boxcar Children. The Westing Game and Island of the Blue Dolphins was interestingly, like, she's alone, isn't she? That was an amazing book. There's one called Wise Child by Monica Furlong, and that was amazing and so beautifully written. And I think it was kind of my first book where things felt really like adult and vibrant to me, even though it is still a children's book. Then once I got to high school, so when I was in high school, there wasn't as much choice across YA. There wasn't the depth to the genre that there is now. So I was actually reading like a lot of my grandma's paperback romance novels. I read a lot of romance novels. I would sneak in and just borrow them for a few days. So I think that was kind of like my bread and butter of what I was reading in high school. I also really loved Jane Eyre when I read that for school. Loved Jane Eyre. And the boy in my next book is like a bit Rochestery, so that's really fun.
Oh, I got some goosebumps.
Oh, I love a tall, dark and broody boy. Anyway, then Tamara Pierce novels as well. I was reading those in middle school and early high school. Those are amazing fantasy series. So those are the big ones, I think.
They're pretty good. Those are excellent. Also, recommendations for people who want some books to read. There you go. Everything that Brianna just said, including her book. Those are ones you should read. So since we're talking about books and reading and books we like, are there any books that are coming out or will be coming out that you are excited about?
Yeah. So Stephanie Perkins' second horror novel is coming out next week. This is her first one, but her second one is coming out next week. And I don't actually read very many like horror novels or thrillers, but I loved this, and it has a really amazing romance subplot that I was not expecting and really enjoyed. So I'm looking forward to her second one. Then some things that I've read recently that have been really amazing. Aftershocks by Marisa Reichart. This is super emotional. I had like a lump in my throat the entire time that I was reading it, and it's so good. Also, I did an event with Kelly McWilliams because we both wrote End of the World books, and this is epic. It's really epic. The scope of it is just huge, and I love Agnes. And then the last one that I am going to hold up is In the Same Boat by Holly Green. And this is about a girl who goes on this epic canoe water race thing, and they don't sleep for like 3 days while they're in this canoe. And she's in there with this boy who is her enemy. So enemies to lovers.
Ooh, I love those.
So those are some recent ones that I've read and really enjoyed.
Yeah, kudos to you having the books. I love it when you're just like, this one and this one.
I was like, I have my little stack here in preparation. Sometimes I don't have all of the books that I want to recommend because I read a lot on my phone as well. So
yes.
Yeah, but I had to buy a few of these just because I wanted to listen.
Okay, and so thank you to Sally, who's watching, who's jotting down all these recommendations. They are amazing, yes. And let's see, lots of other viewers. I can't see you, but we're so happy that you're here with us. Thank you. There's still time to ask questions.
Yeah,
we're going to be chatting until 11:45-ish. So if you think of anything like what's your favorite color, Brianna?
My favorite color has always been red. But then like a few years ago, I was like, is my favorite color red? I don't know. So maybe it's periwinkle. I also really like periwinkle, which is handy because, it's like here on my book, isn't it? So
I love that. I've been thinking about my favorite color lately because even though I try not to, if it's blue or like a turquoise, I'm just drawn to it. I can't help myself. It just happens. And there was a long time where I would just wear blue constantly. So I've been trying to get some more colors in my wardrobe, but it's hard. It's really difficult.
I have a lot of black in my wardrobe from all of my days working backstage. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to kick that habit.
Right, because you have to be not seen. And are you still working?
Not currently, not really. I did really start focusing on the book stuff, like as I said 5 years ago, and then the industry has been pretty, in upheaval from the pandemic. So yeah. I think it is starting to get back on its feet, and I'm really hoping that it recovers.
So will you go back to working part-time, or are you going to try to do writing full-time?
I think for now I need to probably just write full time. I also moved about 2 years ago, like 6 hours from where I used to live. So I don't really have like the connections here that I had up there. So it isn't like a case of just kind of approaching the old company that I worked for.
Okay.
So I am closer to London now though. So maybe, who knows what will happen.
You never know. Well, we want you to write full-time so that you can keep writing books that we will be able to read. So
And I am, some people can write an entire novel in like a month, but I'm not that person. So like I definitely need to have a full-time concentration on the writing. So hopefully I'll keep getting to do that.
yes, which is why people should buy your book so that you can keep writing.
It's true. Make my editors love me.
I was just checking to see if we have any more Facebook questions. I don't see any more right now. Just a lot of comments about how much people love the book, as they should, because it's amazing. So let me get back to our questions. Okay, so this was your debut. You have a little bit more experience now with publishing, with writing, editing, all that fun stuff. What advice would you give to aspiring writers who are trying to get to the point of having their first book be in the world for others to read?
Yeah, so I think my advice would be to find a supportive writing group and trusted critique partners that give you honest feedback. If it's just like all of you being like, you're so great, like that's lovely, but like you need kind of real like critique. And then when you get that feedback, and I talk about this a lot, and it's funny because I'm actually struggling with it a little bit right now. But when you get feedback, like, do try it. Like, I know sometimes it's really hard, and I'm like in a phase right now where I'm kind of resisting changing things. But I've always found in the past, like, that if you do try to change something in a meaningful way, not just, like fix a sentence here or there, then that's like the only way that a manuscript can get to like the next level. So yeah, I need to take my own advice, but I will also be giving this advice. It's really, really difficult.
No, that is great advice. 2 thumbs up. And okay, and I believe it's Amelia again. I named my new kitten after Leo, and he has the perfect personality for the name. So look at that.
Star kitty. I love it. That is so awesome.
So cute. Oh, it's adorable. Like, and I'm just gonna say, like, can you post a photo in the comments? Because like I want to know what this cat looks like.
I want to give him like a little tiny guitar.
Oh, they have those little like little cat costumes where it's like a ukulele.
Yes.
So I can wear. Yes, we need this to happen. Okay, we have a Facebook question from Sally. So you talked a little bit about where the inspiration for this book came from, but how do you get your story ideas? Do you have dreams? Do you see something and then you think about it? Like, is it different for all the different stories you have going on in your head?
That's a really good question. I think usually there's always like a single like spark of something, and sometimes it's like an image. Like for this book, I also like, and I can't really remember if it came before me wanting to write about 2 people being alone or after, but I had this image of like a girl walking down an empty 12-lane highway. So that it can be an image that sets something off, or it can be kind of, I do go for big conceptual things sometimes. So, I'll be like, oh, what if this was true about our world, this one like little change, and if you can create the characters to like explore that change, then sometimes you can ask like really big questions about how we approach, death or grieving, or love and stuff like that. So sometimes like it's a concept sort of thing. One thing that I haven't had happen yet is for it to start with a character, like just a person. So that's interesting. And I'm only just realizing this right now in this chat. So yeah, so it's either the concept or the image, like an image, but not yet. It hasn't been a character yet. Interesting.
Maybe next time.
Maybe.
And since we're talking about characters, how did you come up with the names?
Ooh, okay. So for Hannah, like, and the book is dedicated to a girl I knew in high school called Hannah. And I had put that in kind of just as a placeholder. And I was going to change it later, but by the time that I like got around to being like, I need to change this name, the book Hannah was already like such a real person to me, that I couldn't imagine changing her name. It's very strange. Like they become real. And I was like, no, that's her name. Like, so that one was because of the Hannah I knew. I don't know about Leo actually. There may have been some like rock star, 80s rock person. I'll have to think about that.
It's so perfect for him. Like, I can't imagine. Like, no, you're not any other name. Like, you're Leo, obviously.
Yeah, it does suit him very well.
Yeah, it's pretty rock star. I love it. Oh, we can't see the photo of the cat. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We just love, I love cats. Just like... Okay, so let me just see. Okay, so we're going to be going to our closing questions soon. So if you have a burning question, this is your last chance, unless you join one of Brianna's future virtual events that you can find on her website, which now I'm just, obviously, I should put the link in here because I didn't do that, and I should have. There's a link to her website where you can find all the information, so you can visit there. So, so let's go to our last questions. This is one that we.
Can I just say, like,
yeah.
For the link to the website, you should totally go there because I made a book trailer for you and me that I'm super, super proud of. So, and it's on just like the landing page of that website. So go have a look.
Ooh. Look at you. You write, you make book trailers, you manage ballet studios. Like, what else can you do?
Yeah, I don't know. I did try to like do everything I could for this book. So, and it was really fun making the trailer and all of the swag and stuff. It was nice.
Yes, swag that you can get when you order the book from Mysterious Galaxy Bookstore. Plug it in as much as I can. Okay, so our closing questions, our last question for the closing is one that we always ask at the end of our chats. So what is your favorite library memory?
Okay, so I had to think back, and there was this one time I went into the library and I just kind of flounced in and I was like, I'm going to check out the biggest book here. Like I just had my heart set on this idea. I don't remember how old I was, maybe like 9 or 10. And it turned out to be a copy of the Swiss Family Robinson, and it had these huge pictures, which was a bit of a blow to my reader's ego. But I did feel quite cool when I was carrying this doorstop of a book out of the library. And also, when I was a kid, like Pizza Hut was doing that book program. I was very into that. I was already reading tons of books, so amazing that I could just write them all down and then get pizza for it. So that was good.
I know, I love it's probably one of their like summer reading programs. I love our summer reading programs. It's just, of course, people should get awards and fun stuff for reading books. Like, yes, this is how the world should be run. Like libraries, my opinion.
Like maybe I'm a writer because of Pizza Hut. Who knows?
There we go. Food is. Okay, I don't see any more Facebook questions, but thank you to everyone who asked a question. They were wonderful. So in closing, what's next for you? What projects do you have coming up that you want to share that you can share?
Yeah, so I'm working on edits right now for my second book with Scholastic, and it doesn't have a release date yet, but it's got crisp autumn vibes and a tall, dark, and broody boy, and a STEM genius girl. I think it's going to be a little bit angstier than You and Me, whereas You and Me is there will also be almost kissing, don't worry, lots of delicious romantic tension because I really enjoy writing that, but it will be a little bit angstier. But yeah, I'm super excited about it.
Ooh, I'm all for the angst. And Sally says, can't wait for your second book. Leah says, again, thank you so much. I love your book. Everyone loves you. As they should, because it's amazing. Totally amazing. Okay, so we are at the end. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us, to everyone who asked questions and shared your love for Brianna and You and Me at the End of the World. Let me see. Yes, remember, you can purchase from Mysterious Galaxy Bookstore. And if you write pre-order campaign in the order comments section, you can reserve a swag pack that is full of super cute things, including information on the Spotify playlist for the book. If you're interested in more free online programs like this, just check out our Facebook or our website. We have a lot of fun in-person events happening too, starting next month. So fingers crossed, it's going to be amazing. Thank you so much to Brianna for joining us today. I know it's late where you are and you're going to have even more stuff to do after this. So we are so happy that you got to hang out with me for a little bit. And we can't wait to see what's coming next for you. So thank you to everyone.
Yeah, thank you everyone. And thank you, Jessica.
Have a wonderful night wherever you are.